Anyway, as I was saying earlier, I was talking about us being assets of the state. You're not free. Freedom is an illusion. Houses, cars, swimming pools, conservatories, factories, schools, colleges, universities, there's all assets of the state. And the point, well, I got cut off earlier. The point I'm trying to make is that if everything in England, everything in Great Britain belongs to the state, say to the crown, including us, we're just sheep, you know, meh, meh, meh. If everything belongs to the state of England, then what happens when we join, or if we ever join, the European Union? I mean, if we ever join it 100%. The thing is that the Parliament building in Brussels, and the MEPs, of course, that are in there and trying to take over the whole of Europe, they will own everything. Like I say, at the moment, we only own the title deeds or something. Like on the car, I own the logbook. The logbook doesn't say I own it. It just says I have to pay, or I am responsible to pay the debts on the car. The house, you buy a house to get the title deed. You can put your name above the door. We don't own anything. It belongs to the state. Everything's an asset of the state. But when we join the European Union, if we join the European Union 100%, everything in England will then belong to them. So back to the car. My car will be assets of the European Union. My house, if I owned it, or even if I rent it, it doesn't matter whose name's above the door. It will all become assets of the European Union. That's when they say they will take our sovereignty. We won't be a sovereign nation. The European Union, be like America, the United States of Europe. That is what it's about. Anyway, got this magazine here. Look, I want to show you. Look, Hidden Histories of World War I's Forgotten Photographs. I think it's just an issue. Forgotten Photographs, just an issue. Normally, Hidden Histories of World War I and II, something like that. Anyway, this is page 40. A little something I've discovered. I've had this magazine a few weeks, if not a few months actually, and I keep looking at this bit because it's important. I'll just have a read. This is 1914, remember, the beginnings of World War I. Excuse me if my German's not very good, but I'll try. It says here, page 40. Right. General Field Marshal Führer von der Goltz was appointed military governor of Belgium at the outbreak of the war. He dealt ruthlessly with what remained of Belgian resistance, the resistance to the German occupation, mostly by sniper fire, and it says damaging rail and telegraph lines. This is the resistance to the German occupation. There were snipers and they were damaging the communication systems, right? So he says, this General Field Marshal Führer von der Goltz, he says, it is the stern necessity of war that the punishment for hostile acts falls not only on the guilty, but on the innocent as well. In the future, villages in the vicinity of places where railway lines and telegraph lines are destroyed, in brackets I'll put this in, the people, will be punished without pity, whether they are guilty or not of the acts in question. With this in view, hostages have been taken in all villages near such railway lines which are threatened by such attacks, and upon the first attempt to destroy lines of railway, telegraph or telephone, they will immediately be shot. Right, forget the magazine now. But what we're talking about is the German was put in charge of military governor of Belgium, right, at the outbreak of the war. When do you ever hear this? You don't hear this stuff, do you? So that was 1914, we're at 2015. So 101 years later, the European Union are very interested and pushing for Great Britain, England along with all the other European countries, to join them and let the Brussels, the Parliament, the European Parliament in Brussels take over all the assets and all the wealth of all of Europe, when it's more than likely run, and you never hear this, more than likely actually run by the Germans. Now, isn't this what we fought 2 world wars for? Not for, against. I certainly didn't want to wake up German when I was born. I was born in England. I'm English, yeah, a British citizen. I don't want to end up German by default, because that's what would have happened if they'd won the First World War, and if they'd won the Second World War, we would have been nationalised after a while. Some of us shot, obviously, you know, some in prison, obviously, but the majority of us would have been nationalised German. And basically, if you read between the lines, that is exactly what's going to happen to us if we ever join the European Union 100%. And it's bye-bye to our Parliament, bye-bye to our royal family, bye-bye to our sovereignty, and I tell you, it'd be bye-bye to our freedom, yeah? So, in my eyes, the way I think, that's why I support UKIP. And hopefully, I always will do.